Before we get started talking about the new film from Guillermo del Toro, Frankenstein, I'd like to pose a question to the audience, specifically those of you who have seen the film. This question comes from a lyric in my favorite animated film of all time, Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and this lyric is sung by the character of Clopin. The lyric is, "Who is the monster, and who is the man?" Welcome to Saga Sessions, a show where monsters play God. A show where we explore, analyze, and discuss our favorite stories.
Now, before we get started, we'd like to know what are some of your favorite stories. So if you want to let us know in the comments, maybe we'll talk about them here on the show. Who's to say?
That's right. Let us know. We might take your comment into consideration. All right, gentlemen. Let's get rolling with our spoiler-free segment on Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's newest film. Why don't we start by taking turns expressing our thoughts, our spoiler-free thoughts on the film? What did we expect? What did we get? Overall, how do we feel about it? Who wants to go first?
I'll take it.
Take it.
As the maybe resident, I don't know what everyone else's background here is on Guillermo del Toro. But personally, big fan. I've seen all of his movies. And so going into this, I was like, I love Guillermo del Toro. I love Frankenstein. Kind of a match made in heaven for me. So I think going in, I had pretty high expectations just because of all of that. And overall, I was very, very satisfied. I think in a lot of ways, which we'll get into more in the spoilers and everything, I think in a lot of ways this movie was very tailor-made for me. It hits a lot of notes that I really resonate with. It just the style really resonated with me. I mean, I typically like all of Guillermo del Toro's movies, so I think it was just kind of teed up to be a success for me. So it would have had to do a lot to fail and me not like it. But yeah, overall, I left being very satisfied. I was a big fan.
Robert, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. No, I'm kidding.
Goes and grabs the prop again.
I'm also a Guillermo del Toro fan. I do have, in fact, a box set of his 3 original Spanish language films.
And he had it right next to him the whole time.
And I had it right next to me the whole
right.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth, Devil's Backbone, and Kronos.
All great films.
And I have also pretty much kept up pretty consistently with all of his work. Spaced out over, many years. There's some of his stuff that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's probably due for a revisit. But on the whole, I don't think that he's ever made something that is close to one of my favorite movies of all time. But, I'd call myself a big enough fan because I know that his movies are just so full of great costumes, great production design. It's just cool to see someone commit to this fairy tale, grown-up fairy tale gothic aesthetic, in the way that he does. And it's been cool seeing him just reinvent classic stories, like Frankenstein, with here most recently, him doing his own spin on Beauty and the Beast, with The Shape of Water. He's just a very...
Pinocchio.
Yeah, very... Pinocchio, obviously, yes. I just get excited whenever he comes out with something. However, I do always feel like I get the same thing from him every single time, which is
I could
just
see that.
as a filmmaker, I think that he has a pocket, and for better or for worse, he kind of just stays in his bag. He really does use kind of the same
That's
shots over and over and over again. And that being said, I agree with John in, the classic Guillermo del Toro storytelling twist is that the subjects of horror in his movies, like ghosts and vampires and giant fish creatures, the subjects that would kind of typically be the monster become the objects of sympathy in the story and are not the ultimate bad guys, and he always turns a sympathetic edge twist kind of into them.
Who is the monster and who is the man?
Oh,
Who
he's
is the
bringing it
monster?
back.
Exactly. And so Frankenstein, obviously, like when it first got announced, I was like, this makes the most sense in the world. Like this is probably the story that he got that, storytelling like edge from. It's
You're like, this
the
is about to be the
sympathy-
most Guillermo del Toro movie that will ever exist.
Exactly. And it is. Like it's built that sympathy for the monsters built into it. I mean, I think that we all just might have seen it coming,
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
That being said, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it in the way that I enjoy pretty much all of his movies. They're awesome to look at. They're full of some great performances. Just as someone who's interested in filmmaking as a career, I feel like I could kind of like point out the way that he doesn't really seem to change anything about himself and his approach to filmmaking. Doesn't really seem to build on himself. That could be a problem for some people, but probably not for most. And then I've always thought that he was just very heavy-handed expositionally, and like subtlety was never his strong suit.
Yeah.
But that almost sometimes works in this like gothic melodramatic kind of lane that he puts himself in sometimes.
Also like very fairy tale lane of him as well.
Very indulgent, and sometimes it just works, And yeah, I think that on the whole, I really enjoyed the movie. It is the most Guillermo del Toro movie that you've probably ever seen. It's got, sudden, just like a lot of very sudden, grisly violence. It's got, a lot of sprawling themes that may or may not be heavy-handed. It's got
romantic tension between a woman and the monster figure in the film.
Yeah. So you're just, I don't know, if you're someone who's seen his work before, you know what you're getting into, and you're gonna what you're getting, And I wrote this down as like a review kind of, but however you feel about his other work, I feel like you're going to feel about this one. I don't think that it's going to be the thing that's going to change your mind on Guillermo del Toro if you don't like him. But I think if you're a fan, dude, it's going to knock it out of the park for you. And that is true for me as someone who's kind of in the middle of those two, where I have things that I like super admire about him. But then I also have just things where I'm just like, I feel like there are pacing issues in every single one of his stories. I feel like there are weird tonal shifts that happen every single now and again. Just stuff that keeps me from like absolutely loving all of his work. But I always appreciate it. So yeah, a positive opinion from me. Big thumbs up. It's like gothic. It's fun. It's violent. It's beautiful to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
especially if you saw it in theaters, I guess.
Yeah, like me.
Single tear runs down my face.
John and I did not.
Yeah, I just think it's cool to just see like that part of you as a child that was just so imaginative and went to such extremes with your own internal storytelling and your own imagination, and that was a part that Guillermo del Toro never really let kind of get smothered by maturing and adulting, and like it's cool to see him kind of, you can tell that that's a part of his creativity. And even though his movies are very mature and very violent and hard to watch at times, there's just this kind of like youthful aspect about it that's just so imaginative and fun and playful. And I really dig that about this one as well.
Fantastic. So for me, I'm going to start out my spoiler-free review by saying this. Back in April of 2022, I went to the movie theater to see...
We're going back.
We're going back. I went to the movie theater to see a film. And when this film finished, when the credits rolled, I said to myself, oh my God, I am never going to feel this in love with a film ever again.
Is this The Northman? Question mark?
Yes.
Oh.
This is The Northman.
Oh my, wait. Is this about to happen? Are we getting The Northman Part 2? I was not expecting this.
No. So,
And I was right. I hated this movie.
it's been how many years now? 3.5
something like
years
that. Yeah,
since The
just
Northman
wild.
came out. And I have not yet experienced that same feeling of just euphoria. Is that the right word?
I see you made the Jacob Elordi reference there.
I haven't experienced that since the other night when I watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein and the credits rolled, and I said to myself, I wish I had seen this on the big screen.
Wow.
That's
I was
crazy.
not expecting that reaction.
For the audience who maybe doesn't know Colin personally, that is a huge deal.
That's big.
Because
That's
the
big.
amount that he just talks about the Northman is insane.
Go watch the Northman review on this channel.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you can tell.
Go ahead and click on the card above.
Yeah.
So, in regard to Frankenstein and Guillermo del Toro in general, of the three of us, I have seen the least of his works.
Okay.
You
do really like Pan's Labyrinth, though.
I love Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay. I do remember that.
I've just seen 3 of his films: Pan's Labyrinth, Frankenstein, obviously, and Pinocchio. I have not seen any other work by him, but I was first introduced to Guillermo del Toro by a movie that he never made, and that was The Hobbit.
Ugh. Don't bring this up.
I remember following that production so closely back in the early 2010s, and I guess at this point it was even before that, maybe like 2009 or 2008, and I heard that Peter Jackson hired Guillermo del Toro to make The Hobbit. I should learn more about this guy. I didn't watch any of his films immediately, but I started reading about him online, and I learned that he is a master of making things feel like fairy tales through visuals and storytelling. And obviously, The Hobbit by Guillermo del Toro was never made. We got
We're not in the correct timeline for that, unfortunately.
Yes.
And I regret it every day.
Stay tuned for a future video on Peter Jackson's take on the Hobbit movies. But, so, yeah. Again, I haven't seen as many of his films as you guys have, but I really want to now. I loved Frankenstein. I have some complaints, some gripes, some moments confused me, and we'll get into those. But if you want to feel transported to a different world that feels like a fairy tale, and you get a little bit of something, a little bit of everything in that film, I would recommend Frankenstein for you.
I agree. If you want to feel something, watch this movie.
Exactly.
So it'll make you feel things.
If you want to see some insane things that you'll never see from anyone else,
that's also true.
Watch this movie.
Absolutely.
Well, now that we've gotten that covered, being the spoiler-free section, those of you who have not seen Frankenstein, now would be the time for you to close this video, fire up Netflix, and watch the film.
Right.
Thanks for joining us.
It's really easy. Just go to Netflix right now.
It is a shame that this is a streaming film. I know it had a limited theatrical release, but
it was so limited. It was like a week and a half, maybe.
It wasn't very long at all.
Like I technically wanted to see it, like we both did, but we just didn't have time, which is the rough part.
And it would have been glorious.
Yeah, especially now that we've seen it.
But go watch it for yourself, then come back and tune in for the spoiler section.
So before we move on into the spoiler section, are there any additional things we'd like to bring up about this movie?
Actually, yes, there is. Now, I'm going to be looking down a bit throughout the rest of this video because I have so many notes, so please excuse me.
He does have a lot of notes.
I got a lot. You can't see my table, but I got an iPad full of notes. I got stacks of papers, so just
binders of notes.
Just bear with me. The first thing I want to bring up is the casting of not Jacob Elordi, but Andrew Garfield in the role of the creature. He dropped out due to scheduling conflicts, I think, which came about because of the strike.
Oh, really?
I believe
that
so.
long ago? Interesting.
I believe, yes, he had to drop out 9 weeks before production began.
Yeah. Interesting.
And Del Toro had to find a replacement very quickly. So from what I understand, both his daughter and the CEO of Netflix said, watch these two films, Saltburn and Priscilla, we got a guy for you.
Okay.
And Del Toro saw Jacob Elordi, and what did he say about him, John?
He really liked his eyes. Apparently, Guillermo del Toro just like loves casting people via their eyes,
Right?
Because he's like, acting is all about the eyes. He's Latin. He's very passionate about these things.
We do get quite a few close-ups of
of his
creature's
eyes, and like there's a
how
little
they go.
shiny eye the whole time.
There is a shiny eye the whole time. It's the left eye. It's
Mhm.
always reflecting something. It's always glowing. It's beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, he saw him and he's like, I really like this guy's eyes, and casted him apparently.
But I think it was brilliant casting.
Yeah, thank God he didn't watch Euphoria, because maybe he wouldn't have casted him. Because in my opinion, maybe it's a hot take, I don't love Jacob Elordi in that show, but it is what it is.
I've never seen Euphoria, so I cannot give an opinion on that matter. But the second thing I want to bring up before we dive into the spoiler section is something that actually was brought to my attention by my sister, who saw the Lord Byron quote at the end of the film and said,
Yeah.
Apparently there is a bit of controversy on the internet surrounding the use of a Lord Byron quote versus the use of a Mary Shelley quote at the end of the film. The quote in question is, "And thus the heart will break, yet brokenly live on."
It's a great quote for this movie, though.
It works very well.
It's so on. It's so on. Like, I remember, like, I watched the movie, obviously, last shot of the movie. Then I saw that quote, and I immediately was like, dang, that quote is just so perfect for, like, the end of this movie.
Mhm.
So I see the criticism, because this is for being a story written by a woman, this is a very man-centric story that now ends on a quote also by a man. So I see the criticism. However, I think the quote fit very well. And also Mary Shelley and Lord Byron were like besties, essentially. So like in that aspect of it, I think it also fits the spirit of Frankenstein. But I also see the criticism.
You got any thoughts on that, Robert?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I think that it's a wonderful quote to end this movie. I think that thematically it just works so potently at the end. I mean, I read that quote at the end and I was like, ooh, that got me, know?
Chills.
And I don't know. I think that there is, like what John said, it's important to give credit where credit's due. And especially Mary Shelley, who was such a pioneering artist for women, or well, I don't know if necessarily for women is like the right thing, but she was a woman who really broke out onto the scene when it was a lot harder to do so. And really, I think Frankenstein in a way really did pave the way. It was one of the books that really paved the way for female writers and female artists in turn to just kind of gain reputation and a platform. So it is important to give credit where credit's due, because that matters. But at the end of the day, I think that, someone who's poured their hearts into their story, there is kind of like almost a letting go of ownership, once you let it go. Art gets built upon, adapted upon all of the time. And I think that there's kind of something beautiful about different art from different people kind of eventually coming together in collages and bringing something and expressing different parts of the human experience. It's like these two, like this book, like the story from this book and this quote from this guy, like it's almost like they're sharpening each other and they're creating something that's a lot even more just kind of potent and powerful and very moving. And I think that that's more important at the end of the day. I think that that's what art is for. I think that's one of the reasons why Mary Shelley, even bothered to write this book. I feel like that's one of the reasons why any artist does anything, is to speak into the human experience. And can we do that without losing sight of, like who eventually created it and the stepping stones that they paved in order to get here? Like, absolutely. And I think that this movie does that too, because let's not forget that this is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, based off of Mary Shelley, the novel by Mary Shelley, at the end as well. So I don't know. Speaking personally, I just kind of see, I feel like just something like that is so valuable and so affirming, even as just like, if you are an artist, just to see your work like continue to inspire and kind of like, be lifted up by other artists, and, just all of this, I don't know, just things coming together,
It's like them building on each other.
I think that's
inspiring
beautiful.
each other.
And I think that's something that, like an artist wouldn't deny their art based off of like gender stuff as well. Because I think that in a way, like art can sometimes transcend that. And it's not necessarily like Frankenstein is a beautiful story. Whether it was written by a man, whether it was written by a woman, that quote is a very powerful quote. Whether it was written by a man, whether it was written by a woman, I think the whole point is that it speaks to us, and that's the end goal. And I think that someone who like is an artist would see that, even as like there's kind of a humility that you have to have when you bring your art into the world. And yeah, I mean, I can see it, but at the end of the day, I think that it's just a very nice ending on top of a very good story.
I absolutely agree. And to your point, Robert, I'm going to be going a little bit out of order for my notes here, but it's fascinating what Guillermo del Toro did. Actually, wait a minute. I should not go out of order in my notes. I should keep them in order, because these two notes that I'm about to read go back to back. They go hand in hand. So first of all, and I'll make this kind of short, the time period of Mary Shelley's novel is different than the time period that Guillermo del Toro chose for his film adaptation. In the novel, the story takes place in the late 1700s. In the film, del Toro has it set in the years 1855 and 1857. Why? Well, there could be several reasons why, but the most glaring one has to do with the fact that the creature teaches himself to read by reading the works of none other than Percy Shelley, Mary Shelley's husband. There is a scene. This is
really interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. There is a scene where we hear the creature reading from, I hope I say this right, the poem Ozymandias, written by Percy Shelley. So by moving the story further in time, del Toro was able to make that connection, where the creature learns to read from the works of the author's husband.
Which is interesting, because does that mean Mary Shelley is canonically existing in the universe of Frankenstein?
Who knows?
Who knows?
And that would get really meta.
That would get really meta.
Really meta.
But that is interesting that they did that. Which goes to show, like, at the end of the day, I think Guillermo del Toro knows ball when it comes to Frankenstein. So like, I think like there's a lot of nods and like to the original source material in Mary Shelley to like kind of counteract some of the, I guess, areas that are a little bit questionable, I guess. But again, this is just my opinion.
I got no more notes other than time to walk through the story and share our thoughts on our spoiler-filled thoughts on the film.
Amazing.
Whoa. The Prelude. The Prelude begins in the farthermost north in 1857, so not at the beginning of the story. Danish sailors are stranded. Their ship is stuck in the ice. The sailors want to go home, but their captain is determined to see the mission through. Then they see an explosion in the distance. They go out and look, and they find Victor Frankenstein himself. And then they run into the creature.
Jacob Elordi appears. And I must say, Jacob Elordi is magnificent in this honestly
role.
I was questioning whether or not that was him when he was first on screen. I was like, is that him? Or is this like
it is.
Another creature in the beginning? Yeah, but yeah, it is him.
It is him, and they actually had him crouch down a little bit too.
Oh, did they?
No,
I mean, because he's like,
he's like 8 feet tall.
Because he's like 6'8", yeah, right? In real life, Jacob Elordi is 7'2", just so we're on record. Everyone knows. I'm kidding, by the way. But yeah, no, I have to say, going into this movie, as I previously stated, I'm not the biggest Jacob Elordi fan out there, but I kind of had to eat my words and all of my doubts and all of my potential criticisms during this movie because Jacob Elordi kind of killed it. Not gonna lie, he ate this roll up at the end of the movie. Colin was like, he's gonna get nominated for an Oscar for this, which, like, if the world was fair, probably would happen. Do I see it happening? Probably not.
I think he will, John. I think he will.
Hey, you heard it here first. Colin's predicting it.
I'm predicting
he's
going to
get nominated.
And I say that with confidence, and I know we're moving away from the walkthrough of the story right now, but I say that with confidence because the Academy loves Guillermo del Toro. He has 3 Oscars.
That's fair.
He won Best Director for The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water obviously took home Best Picture. And he won Best Animated Feature for Pinocchio. He has history with the Academy. They like him. They like his work. And this film, I would argue, is not a horror film.
I don't know if I would argue that.
I don't know.
It's not your traditional horror film.
You're right. It's not your traditional horror film. But I don't know. We'll see. We got 2 sides of the aisle. Robert, where do you stand on the Oscar nomination parlay?
I think that Colin brings up a good point with Guillermo del Toro's like history,
which I didn't think about, to be fair.
With the things. Yeah, I think it's super possible. I'm wondering because we're getting into award season, so all the movies that think that they can contend for Oscars are going to be coming out. We'll see how tough the competition is this year. I don't know because he's behind so much makeup. I don't really know how much the Academy tends to award, actors who...
I don't know. The Whale, Brendan Fraser.
The Whale, but he was just a human. He was just another human.
I mean, that's fair.
Another version of a human.
What do you mean? Frankenstein is a human too. Didn't you watch the movie?
My bad. But yeah, I don't think that he'll win.
Yeah. But he might get nominated.
I don't think he'll win either, but I think he will get nominated.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'll say yeah. I'll say he'll get nominated.
Okay.
He's been kind of hot recently too.
If he doesn't, I'll eat my
I thought you were just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, he's kind of hot. So
yeah, he's kind of in this movie only.
Yeah. This is his hottest role easily.
Yeah.
Getting back to the story, they run into the creature. The sailors take Frankenstein, Victor, we'll call him Victor from this point on, back to their ship. They fend off the creature. Ultimately, they get the creature to fall through the ice, and Victor starts telling his story to the captain, who, by the way, the captain is Lars Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen's brother.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Plays Grand Admiral Thrawn in Ahsoka.
What a name.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Anyways, he starts telling his story, and we, the viewers, are treated to Part 1. Victor's Tale.
This is secretly a Quentin Tarantino film. It's divided into parts that show up on screen, which I also wasn't expecting, but a big fan of, honestly.
Yeah.
Before we dive into Victor's Tale, do we have any critiques or criticisms of the Prelude? Because I do, but I want to give you guys the chance to offer your thoughts before I go.
I don't think so. I think I know what you're going to say, so I feel like I'll save it for if that is what you're going to say.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that the Prelude was good, and I think it did a good job of
setting things up.
It was an interesting hook. It was intense. It was mysterious.
I was in. I was locked in.
I was in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was first of all very impressed with just the way everything looked, the color palette, the saturation of color.
True.
It dragged me in, and I loved the way it looked.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, that creature is OP.
He is strong. Yeah. That is what I thought you were gonna go. Yeah.
He was so OP, and to be fair, later in the film, it's kind of later in the film as we experience Victor's point of view and the creature's point of view, we learn not necessarily why he is that way, but we do get to see that he is that way.
Yeah.
But in the Prelude, it's just thrown at you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this guy can move a ship.
He really throws you into like, this is not your dad's Frankenstein.
Exactly.
Or dad's creature of Frankenstein.
And he heals super rapidly. He's basically Wolverine,
Yes.
just stronger. So I remember thinking to myself, oh my goodness, if I cannot suspend my disbelief this much for this long. This is getting a little out of control. So I was a little worried by the time the Prelude was over. Even though it looked stunning, I was just a bit concerned.
Taken aback,
and a little concerned that, oh, geez, is the rest of the movie going to feel like
we're about to
this?
be watching an action film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That
is
fight
fair.
Scene, that
I
first
think
fight
that is
scene does
fair.
feel very like action movie.
Yeah.
You
it
know,
is a lot.
It was a lot. It was like I was very surprised that he came in that way, because usually it's not. His fight scenes aren't really that like, they don't feel that much like action movies. You know what I mean? They're usually a part of like a much larger story. You know, I'm thinking about,
with the exception of like Pacific Rim, which is like his action movie.
Right, and I haven't seen Hellboy, but probably Hellboy too.
This is true.
As
also
well.
Hellboy. It was kind of giving Hellboy vibes, actually.
Yeah.
So I think it made sense. So I guess like as the person who's seen like every Guillermo del Toro movie ever, basically, I was like, oh, we're just going with action movie vibes, I guess, for this one, at least to start. But it definitely was a little, it definitely catches you off guard how just insanely strong this dude is in the canon of this film.
So, guys, I'm assuming, and when I say guys, I mean all of you people, lovely people watching this video, I'm assuming that if you're watching the spoiler section, you have seen the film. At least I hope you have. So I'm not going to get into too many details. I'm just going to try to glide through the story so we can make sure we touch all the major points in a reasonable time frame. But I do want to shout out Charles Dance for making an appearance in this film. Love that guy. Loved him in Game of Thrones.
And once again, he's playing a terrible person.
Yeah, he kind of he plays the same character in almost everything he's in, but I'm always
But he does great at it. That's why it keeps happening.
Exactly. Shout out to Mia Goth for playing the mom, as well as her character of Elizabeth, who we will meet later. But
very Freudian.
Yeah.
Very Freudian.
Yeah.
Again, pardon me for looking down. I got tons of notes.
Oh, that's on purpose.
So we learn that his father, Victor's father, is a surgeon. He's training his son up to be just like him, but he is tough and not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
I mean, it's some of those scenes between him and his father are tough to watch, to be quite honest. It's just, it's very unfortunate. But I wrote down a quote from the film that I wanted to bring up right now because I wonder if it comes into play later in the film. So when Victor's father is schooling him, quizzing him about, human anatomy, and by the way, shout out to Guillermo del Toro, who wrote the screenplay himself, for all the research he must have done into human anatomy to make this feel as accurate as he did. But anyways, when the father is quizzing young Victor, and Victor fails to answer a question properly, and the father is about to beat him or strike him with a rod, he tells him, no, we're not going to strike your hands. Your hands are...
Those are your tools
Those are your tools. I'm going to strike your face because... Let me find my note.
Oh, the thing about vanity?
Your face, however, is vanity.
Mm-hmm.
Does that quote bear any significance, do you think, in the evolution of Victor's character?
Probably. Especially because, like, you have the character of the monster who's, like, kind of deformed in ways.
Ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly
hey,
as
he's
hell.
still Jacob Elordi under there. He's still hot. But, not traditionally attractive, one would say. But despite that, is, like, one of the most human characters in the movie. So I think that kind of, like, ties into that whole, like, little message he's got going on.
Another moment in the life of young Victor that stood out to me is when his mother tragically passes away in childbirth. His brother William is born, and Victor confronts his father one day and says, "You didn't save her." And his father says, "I did everything I could." And Victor says, "One day I will conquer death." And I wrote down the quote. He said, I was born anew that night. I had a vision. I saw for the first time the dark angel. And the dark angel made him a promise. At least in his head, it made him a promise. A promise that he would have command over the forces of life and death. And that is where we leave the story of young Victor and transition to the tale of an older, more experienced Victor in the middle of a disciplinary tribunal in a university, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Oscar Isaac, making his appearance, first appearance in this movie.
Yep.
Love that dude.
The scene that we're talking about now, fascinating scene.
Great scene.
Insane.
Because
we love the practical effects in the scene.
Crazy visual at the center of it. Wild thing.
That's
right
that
there.
Guillermo del Toro magic right there.
No, it is. It's his gross little rated R fairy tale mind.
Yeah.
His specimen that we're talking about is the body of a dead shopkeeper with its brain intact and the arm of a carpenter.
Yeah. There's like some physical labor job.
So he put two parts of two different bodies together.
Foreshadowing.
Made it functional. And
made it
gets
alive.
Oh, and the dad from The Witch is in there.
Yes.
Randomly.
Ralph Innocent.
Yeah.
He is in there.
Go watch the Witch review on this channel.
That's right. Click on the card above.
Boom.
So, fascinating scene. He gets, I guess,
expelled,
presumably kicked out of the college, of the university. And he meets an interesting character, Heinrich Harlander, played by Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz, love that dude.
Harlander profits off of war. He owns an ammunitions factory. And he wants to be Victor's benefactor for this great experiment. And we all know what the experiment is.
Mm-hmm.
But I was left wondering, why does Harlander want to be the benefactor? What is he getting out of this? He says, well, I want to be near you when you work. I want to watch. And Victor's like, well, I don't normally allow that. I don't like that. And ultimately, they do
But
agree.
who am I to say no to copious amounts of money?
Exactly. He needs the funds. And so we find out later, exactly why Harlander wants to be the benefactor, what he wants to get out of this bargain. But we are eventually introduced to an older version of Victor's younger brother, William, and his fiancée, Elizabeth, who is the niece of Heinrich Harlander, played by Mia Goth, who also played the mother.
Horror legend. Shout out to Mia Goth.
What is she known for again?
With the trilogy, I don't know what it's called, but it's like Pearl, X, and then whatever the last one was.
We watched X, right, Colin?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yes, and there's quite a story there, and we'll save that for another podcast.
There is no review of X on this channel.
Yeah.
So you can't click the card above on that
We're
one.
not reviewing X.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless get in the comments. I don't know. That's a trilogy right there. That's a saga.
That's a saga.
That's a saga to
Saga
Session.
Session's description, the bill. But yeah. So in the first scene between Victor and Elizabeth kind of gives him a bit of a talking to. And it's very anti-war. A very anti-war sentiment. She tells him things like, the people who make war don't actually participate in the war. You're not doing the bleeding. You're not doing the fighting. And she just schools him.
She's a very opinionated woman.
Yes. So
which we hate.
Yeah, they all hate that back then.
Certainly not welcome in 1855.
Robert hates that now, but they all hated that back then.
No, I'm still on that train.
Still on that train.
By the way, I asked myself when we were watching the film, I asked myself, what war takes place during this time? I looked it up.
Did you look it up?
I did. It's the Crimean War.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the year was, so I thought it was like the Napoleonic Wars, but I think I was too late for that.
1855, the Crimean War.
Interesting.
In fact, Victor gets some bodies from the battlefield for his experiment.
Yummy.
He eventually figures out, because he has cadavers in his laboratory. In fact, actually, we have a moment where I suppose it's Harlander gets him the tower, the famous Frankenstein tower. Which I guess used to be like an old...
I feel like it was like a mill, lighthouse. I don't know.
There's water in there.
Windmill in the book.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a windmill in the book, but I don't know
Yeah.
what it was supposed to be in this.
I could be mistaken in terms of like the exact wording, but I did notice on my rewatch that the tower itself says Aqua e Vida.
Oh, Water of Life?
Yeah,
Water tower.
So-
then.
Interesting.
it's something
Maybe.
involving water.
I don't
Well-
know. It's a cool tower.
Think about it, because it has that like drain in the middle.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
could have had it to where it was like open at the top and would catch rainwater and then funnel it into
Oh,
so it was
interesting.
probably like a water mill
Something like
or
that.
like a water collection
Reservoir or
tower.
something or other.
Yeah.
So he's using the tower as his laboratory. He is gathering bodies from the battlefield and from criminals who were executed, which is a rather gruesome scene where they're
Oh,
hanging.
his hand is up.
It's interesting.
Yes.
Because we are in the spoiler section of this, so I'm gonna say something that I noticed, but it's a spoiler for the whole thing. Because obviously Dr. Frankenstein, Victor, he dies at the end of the movie as a
Right.
result of this endeavor.
Just trauma.
And it's interesting.
Mhm.
I've noticed that this is
Okay.
a cut. This is a very, very intentional cut in the story. But, he's got this desire to pursue this thing, but he can't because he's
Mhm.
limited financially until he meets Christoph Waltz's character, who's like, I will give you the means in order to
Mhm.
see this through.
Right.
Mhm.
And eventually he agrees after thinking about it, and the two shake hands, and and then immediately we cut to the gallows dropping and people getting hung.
Oh.
It's the moment that he agreed to go
Mm.
with Christoph Waltz's character.
That's
He's basically
cool.
was dooming himself
Yeah.
to his death. He was condemning himself to
Dude,
death.
they were both dooming each other, technically.
Yeah, technically.
So it works for both ways.
Yeah, it would have been cool
That's
if there were like
cool.
2 people on the gallows.
Yeah.
But well, there
never
were 3
noticed
people
that.
on the gallows.
There were
And
three
the 3 people
There
that
were 3 people on the
died are
gallows.
him, Christoph Waltz, and Mia Goth.
Mia Goth, yeah.
So
and
3
William.
people.
Spoiler. But-
True. Yeah, so I guess a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
people
William
die.
did die because of that. Yeah,
Everybody
never-
dies.
Bummer. Well,
No,
I
it still
thought-
works. It still works.
It
It
still
does
works.
work.
I just noticed that. I was like, oh, that's a
That's
pretty,
cool.
that's a
That's
pretty
cool.
cool thing to kind of
Yeah.
like.
Guillermo del Toro, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. It's a
He
good
knows
story.
what he's doing.
Good
Would this be a
storyteller.
good time to
visual
point out that-
storyteller.
That
Great
Robert
visual
went to film
storyteller.
school.
Oh.
So he can notice
Professional
these things.
filmmaker
He's been
Robert.
trained to notice
Yeah.
these things. Yeah.
What?
No.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah. Good catch.
We'll hope.
It's a really good catch.
We can hope.
But meanwhile, while Victor is conducting, preliminary
Questionable
work
experiments.
on this experiment, this grand experiment, he's also kind of pursuing his brother's
Mhm,
fiancée, Elizabeth, which is a very questionable thing for him to do. But they have a very interesting relationship. Elizabeth is a fascinating character,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and there is something about Elizabeth that kind of takes me out of the story, and we'll discuss it when we get there.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
but we're not quite there yet. So he's pursuing Elizabeth while putting his brother William in charge of overseeing
Mhm.
the
Construction of the
construction.
tower.
Exactly, yes, of all the different pieces he needs to complete this experiment. So again, we're gliding through the story. He gets a bunch of bodies in a very gruesome scene. He carves them up.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't
like
watch that. I covered my
reconstructs it.
eyes. I will confess.
Yeah, it was
I was locked in. I was
it
like,
was
"This
a
is
little
cool."
rough to watch.
Said, anyone hungry after this? Huh? Anyone? No, just me.
Not me. Not me. But he builds essentially his
Mhm.
creation.
He builds future Jacob Elordi.
And then the storm hits.
Mm-hmm.
The storm we all associate with the birth of Frankenstein's monster. And this is when we learn exactly what Harlander
Mhm.
wants. And this I do not buy.
Oh, interesting.
I don't buy this.
He's not buying it, y'all.
Oh.
What does that mean? You don't buy the dude who has syphilis wanting to not die of syphilis?
That's well, okay, so in terms of the story, yes, that's exactly what's going on.
Yes.
He wants his brain implanted or transplanted, whatever word is better,
Get outed into this dude.
to be put into the head of the creature. Before I make my point, John, what's our new favorite line from Oscar Isaac?
Oh, where he just goes, No.
No.
That was such a good line delivery. Just
Yeah.
no. Ugh, I literally watched it. I was like, that was peak. I don't know how many takes it took for him to get that delivery, but it was beautiful.
It was really good. But here's what I don't buy, and I'm opening the floor to you guys as well.
Okay.
Granted, we are already having to suspend our disbelief that yes,
Okay.
this experiment could work in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
Does Harlander actually think though that he can take Victor can take his brain out, put it in this creature, and he can still live?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean,
how?
I'm not a doctor. I couldn't tell you.
You take your brain out, put it in the other guy, and then there you go. In his mind, that's probably all you need to do.
It's just like plugging it into a different outlet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when you put a USB from one computer to another computer, it's the same USB. Boom.
It's the same thing.
Same concept. And I think he's also just really desperate.
Probably equally as complicated too.
Yeah. Oh, should I put the brain in the wrong way? This always happens the first time. You gotta flip it around.
Well, I had to suspend my disbelief heavily.
That's fair. It made sense to me.
I will say this is one of the weaker parts of the story for me. Because,
yes, I agree.
Foregoing the plausibility of him taking his brain and that out, putting it in a new body, and that being successful, the way that he sprung it onto him so last minute, and I was just like, what he's talking about, do you think that he can do it in the 20 minutes that he has? Like, this lightning storm is happening right
Take
now.
out my brain right now.
That's a great point.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
And the fact that he didn't, that this conversation didn't happen earlier, that's obviously something that would need, neither one of these characters are dumb. I think that even within the context of the story, whether, you could suspend your disbelief that operation, something like that would work. I have a hard time suspending my disbelief into thinking that character could believe that that's something that could have been done right then and there. In the moment, with the amount of time that they had, and that it wasn't something that he brought up to him. I feel like these are two Gracie dudes. I think they could have found some middle ground.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, just the whole conflict seemed very constructed and not very organic, because it's just there's this one storm, but there will be there's probably more, and don't you want to see that it's gonna work beforehand? And you're literally bringing it up as it's happening, but you're asking for a whole brain surgery. It was just it
was a little contrived.
It was just a little forced.
Yeah.
It was a little constructed. It felt just it didn't really make a lot of sense story-wise.
Maybe he never brought it up before because he knew Oscar Isaac, Victor would say, no.
I mean, there's the whole shame around syphilis, that could be in it, but yeah, I agree. It was a little messy, and I remember when we were watching it at the end of that scene, and when Harlander just falls and he's dead, Colin was just so what was the point of his character? And I'm
that's in my notes.
At the time, I was we'll see, because I could kind of see where maybe it could be more important. But at the end of the day, he was really just there to provide the funding for this experiment, and then eventually show how cruel Victor is, and then die, which is something. I think he was important to the story, but I feel like his character could have been used a little bit better. I
also
guess.
Thematically, and you can maybe disagree if this was done to a point that it was done well, but the guy with all the money funding this project, presumably, according to himself, just because we're two kindred spirits and I want to see, this is just for the sake of humanity, this is for the sake of science, this is for the sake of progress, which is very much his opening speech, which is very much what he draws Frankenstein in with, only to be revealed that his motives are actually deeply personal.
True.
And, built around him. And it does really kind of bring an interesting, in a very, you can just, it's a very broad character thing. So I'm not saying that but there are, there's not a whole lot of, I wouldn't say it's like the most cleverly done thing, but it does kind of have thematic things about like, progress and investors, and can anything actually ever be like selfless, and will people actually, invest out of, the pure desire to see something done. And even if you wanted to like bring it down into the whole like artist thing, like is if someone who is, pursuing like an artistic goal comes into a funder, like, the relationship that is like, can that ever not be personal? Can that ever just like be for that? So I would say the most interesting thing about his character is just the fact that like the reveal of like, oh, it's actually incredibly self-motivated.
Yeah.
It was never for a genuine interest.
It was never
in
about
the
the
venture.
science.
Yeah, it was never about the science. And but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't even go as far to say that that is like a new thought or a clever thought or one that's never been in a story before.
And I wouldn't say it was like done the best that it could have been.
Yeah, and I will say that even with that, it is just I do think that his character is very much just kind of a plot device.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Agreed.
With just kind of this shoestring thematic tie.
We'll tie him in a little bit, but mostly he's just there for the plot device of it all.
Well, and to your point, Robert, of him actually not caring about the science and caring more about, his personal motivations, when Victor tells him no, he threatens to sabotage the entire experiment.
He's like, then you're going down with me.
Exactly. He takes, I forget the actual device, but
it was part of the lightning rod.
Yes.
It was like the top of it.
He takes that and threatens, I guess, to throw it down the well.
Mm-hmm.
And he himself falls down the well and...
Dang.
Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Yeah, and dies.
R.I.P. King.
So, but his death does come into play later.
Yes.
Which
when everyone else shows back up and is like, where is he at?
And we will get
Not
to
here.
that.
Not here. He's away somewhere.
But anyways, the lightning strikes, and we are treated to a very stunning scene.
Great sequence.
Yes.
Great sequence.
The lightning enters the...
Guillermo del Toro was cooking.
When the lightning enters the unliving body of the creature, and we go inside.
Oh, yeah. Very like Spider-Man, the original 2000 Sam Raimi Spider-Man of him.
Yeah. I thought
very
that was
Jimmy
great.
Neutron.
Yeah, very Neutron. Very Jimmy Neutron of him.
Never seen Jimmy Neutron.
It's okay. Next episode.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a great sequence.
No, the whole sequence is great. And like all like the random, like Guillermo del Toro was like, what would this experiment look like in real life? Let me just have a bunch of like kooky inventions, and like he's turning all these gears and things are opening and closing and lightning is going everywhere. I was locked in. The only part, and I don't know if I'm the only one who's sad about this, the only part I'm a little sad about is that we didn't get the iconic like, it's alive, like kind of bit that like is usually in like every single Frankenstein adaptation.
I was waiting for it.
I know, me too. I was like, oh, Oscar Isaac's gonna kill this.
But that's okay. You know what we got instead?
What did we got? No.
No.
That's so true. So yeah, we didn't get the iconic "It's Alive," but you know what? That's fair.
So, to continue gliding through the story, it appears that the experiment failed.
Mm-hmm.
And Victor does not care about his dead companion. He cares about his failed experiment.
True. He said, I'm going to bed.
He goes to bed, and pardon me for looking down.
Realest thing in this entire movie.
Realest thing in this entire movie. Like,
This
you know
is
what?
in my notes.
I'm going to sleep.
In his dreams, he tells the Dark Angel who promised him that he would have control over life and death. He tells the Dark Angel that they lied to him.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just thought was an interesting callback to that moment from his childhood when he believed that the Dark Angel made a promise to him.
Yeah, the whole Dark Angel through line is interesting, I will say.
Yeah.
It is.
And I have thoughts about it.
Oh, he has thoughts about it.
What are your thoughts?
We'll wait until wait until the end, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to get through all the Dark Angel cameos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Victor wakes up the next morning and Jacob
It's
Elordi
alive!
is standing over him.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And the dream of thousands of people around the world. Jacob Elordi standing over them when they wake up.
Maybe not looking like that, though.
I mean, people are thirsting over him, even as Frankenstein. We all remember the people...
Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein's monster, yeah,
Yes.
sorry. We all remember the people thirsting over Nosferatu So like, if they're thirsting over that dude and that mustache, they're gonna be thirsting over this man, and they are. And shout out to them.
Well, this is when we are first treated to Jacob Elordi's brilliant performance.
True.
Yeah. And what's the first thing Victor does? Well, maybe not the first thing, but actually, first of all, very important to point out because this comes into play at the very last shot of the film. And I think it's at this point.
Yes, it is his part.
He shows him the sun.
He like opens the curtains and
Yes.
the monster, the creature is like, oh.
Yes, he shows him the sun.
And he's like, no, embrace it. Feel the sun's rays, the warmth.
And he teaches him to say his name, Victor. Also very important.
True.
But then he takes him down and chains him up
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
like a good father.
Yep.
Not really.
Take notes, everyone. This is how you can be a good father. Just kidding.
And Victor, through, voiceover dialogue, because he's still telling his story to the captain of the ship, he admits, I never thought about what would come after creation.
Just so wild.
I only thought about creation. I didn't actually think about what I would do if it worked.
It's the most man thing to ever
deadbeat.
be said.
Which is quite
he's
evident.
a deadbeat dad.
So, we learn through another scene where Victor is shaving the creature's head. We learn a bit about the creature's capabilities. The creature, first of all, it seems like he cannot feel pain. I'm not, again, I've seen the movie twice. I'm not certain if that's the case, but when the creature cuts itself on the razor, he doesn't even make a sound. He doesn't wince, but we learn that he heals very rapidly. And that's very important for the story moving forward.
This is when Elizabeth and the crew show up.
Well, yes.
At some point.
I wanted to say, I think some of the best acting in the whole film takes place between Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi down in, I'm assuming, the bottom of the bottom of the tower, when all the creature is doing is saying Victor, Victor. He's saying one word, and Oscar Isaac is just losing his patience with the creature. I think that those scenes, because there's like 2 or 3 of them, are just, I think, phenomenally acted by both performers.
I agree.
No, Jacob Elordi is very, very emotive, and not very.
His eyes are doing a lot of work.
His eyes are. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro was right, which I admire. It's a great. It's a different kind of performance that relies a lot more on just your expression and your physicality. And I often think that kind of is overlooked. When you go on social media a lot, people, and you see all those like videos, there's like my top 10 acting performances of like all my favorite, and it's just like a bunch of white guys yelling, like
yelling. Yeah,
it's Tobey Maguire in that one war movie that he did. It's like Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's Daniel Day-Lewis screaming, "And there will be blood."
Not bad performances, but they're just acting is more than being loud, and I think that Jacob Elordi does a great job, especially behind all that makeup and all those prosthetics. Of just bringing something very human, through it all. Without many words, and I think that's
just one Victor.
Just Victor.
Did you know the makeup process for him sometimes started at 10 p.m. at night?
Oh, I'm not surprised.
And they'd shoot in the morning.
That's crazy. I'm not surprised. Yeah, when I saw that makeup, I'm like, that dude was in that chair for a long time.
So, again, progressing through the story, I would argue what comes next is, for me, and I've already expressed that I've had to suspend my disbelief a few times in this film, but I think what's next is possibly the most unbelievable aspect of the film to me.
Okay.
And that is Elizabeth's inexplicable attraction to this creature.
He's hot. What do you mean?
It's Jacob Elordi, and she knows it.
It's Jacob Elordi.
Elizabeth and William show up at the tower.
It's a Guillermo del Toro movie. What do you expect?
I know. He's
Colin hasn't seen The Shape of Water yet. And just you wait. Just you wait.
But I do know this is very Shape of Water coded.
It is very Shape of Water coded, yes.
But Elizabeth and William show up to the tower. They're like, "Where is Harlander? Where's my uncle?" And I forget what Victor's excuse is.
I think he was just away. He was just on somewhere.
Like
he was just somewhere else.
But Elizabeth goes down for some reason to...
Because she hears him.
She hears him. Okay.
He's like making some noise down there.
But she goes down, and she is not the least bit frightened, concerned, skeptical even of this creature.
Well, she knew what he was doing.
Well, I don't know that Elizabeth knew that this was the creature that Victor created because, and I have to look down again for this, pardon me, when she meets the creature, she says, "Who hurt you?" And then she goes up to Victor and she says, "Is he a patient? Is he a victim?"
Yeah. She
So
thinks that he's
she
just
doesn't know.
like a traumatized human being.
Yeah.
At first, I
Yeah,
think.
that's fair.
Yeah.
A quote that I really liked. I've written down a lot of quotes from the movie. That's the benefit of being able to watch this on Netflix. You can just pause whenever you want.
Yeah.
But I believe after William learns that his brother succeeded, William asks Victor a very interesting question. Of all the parts that make that man, which one holds the soul?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question.
Question people have been asking for years.
But I'm asking this question just in relation to the creature, because the creature, I think it's very evident in the film that the creature is a person.
Yes, made very evident by the part where the brother goes, "You're the real monster, Victor."
Right. So I don't know what the
Incredible
answer to
insight
that question
into the
is,
story.
but I wanted to
deep.
I wanted to bring it up because I thought the quote was very well
No, it
written.
is really, yeah, and I kind of forgot about the quote until you just said it, but it is a very poignant quote, and also just like really ties in with just like the entire message, question, everything of the movie.
I don't know how many quotes. Again, I've written down a lot.
There's a lot of bangers.
I don't know how many of them are Del Toro and how many are Mary Shelley, if any.
That one's
don't
Del
know.
Toro.
That one's Del Toro?
No.
Okay.
He's like, that one sounds like Del Toro.
So eventually Victor catches on that Elizabeth is,
Mhm.
attracted to this. Well, I say attracted, but
There's some kind of
she
something
thinks
going
differently
on.
because when he even uses the word attraction, she says, no, it's understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Also very interesting. And that's when she tells Victor, only monsters play God.
And then the credits roll, because that's the tagline of the movie.
That's right.
What are we? Some kind of Frankenstein?
Frankenstein. What are we? Some kind of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
But it's only when Elizabeth scolds Victor for
being a terrible father.
Sure, that Victor really lashes out at the creature. He goes down there. He picks up an iron rod, and at least
he becomes his father.
I thought he was going to do what his father did to him. Your face is vanity.
Yeah.
But no, he says to the monster. Pardon me, not the monster. He's not a monster.
Oh,
the creature. He says to the creature,
he's not a monster.
"Give me
He's
your
a
leg.
creature."
Give me your leg,"
Yeah.
repeatedly. And there's just this intense moment between the two actors where it's actually a little hard to watch because it's terrifying because it looks like it's going to be a moment of torture. But Victor takes the iron rod and essentially constrains the creature even further.
Chains him up even more.
Chains him up even more so he can't even move his arms, and the creature just starts yelling, "Victor! Victor!" over and over again, and then the scene ends. And it's like,
remember, that's the part where he says Elizabeth's name also, because he said that earlier.
That is, yes.
Say any name, say any word that isn't Victor. He just keeps saying it, but then she's like, at the very end, as he's walking out, he just goes, "Elizabeth," and then Victor just keeps walking out because he's pissed.
That is correct. And that, I believe...
I'd be pissed if my son had more play than I did.
Well, there you go.
But I can't even fault the guy.
That's real.
This is when Victor tells William that it was the creature who killed Harlander.
Yes.
He shows William the body of Christoph Waltz. It's not looking too pretty. And he tells him that the creature killed Harlander in a fit of rage, and that he's not safe, and he sends William and Elizabeth away. And while they're in the carriage, Elizabeth looks at William and says, "Something is not right.
Wrong.
We have to turn around."
And meanwhile, my dude has found every single bucket, barrel, jug of oil that could ever possibly exist.
Yeah, I don't know what the flammable liquid would have been
either.
in that time period.
Lantern oil, maybe.
I'm not even gonna try to
I don't know,
name
but
something
he
because
has he has a comedic amount of this liquid.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
He's just throwing it everywhere.
And also to make a quick correction to what we said earlier, this is actually the moment that the creature says
Oh, is that this part?
Elizabeth, because
Whoops.
Victor comes down with
Yes.
all the flammable liquid, and he's pouring it everywhere, and he says to the creature, "Give me a chance to save you.
Mm-hmm.
Say any other word."
Yeah.
And he says, "Victor, Victor," and then he says Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
and then Victor
He says,
lights the
light
match.
it up.
Light it up. Yes. So he burns the laboratory down. He gets hurt in a very gruesome way.
He tries to go back in to like save him, it seems, like because he has like a moment of regret, I guess, which is interesting.
Yes, it is very interesting. He definitely, it appears that he was having second thoughts about his decision to A, blow up his laboratory, and B, kill his creation, child, whatever word you think is best.
Yeah, which I think is good. I think like this story does a lot to really paint Victor as like the villain, like, which obviously is like merited and obviously is like true to the source material in a lot of ways. But I think this was an important moment of like humanization for Victor that like I think without that scene the ending would have been a little bit less plausible. But I think with this moment in it, I think it really like goes to time with the ending, and I liked it a lot personally. I liked it a lot.
By the time William and Elizabeth show up, Victor has lost a leg. The tower is obliterated.
And the monster is who knows?
Who knows? Well, then we cut back to the ship. Victor, relaying his story to the captain, and the captain goes to answer, a knock on the door. We assume it would be one of the members of the crew, but no, it's the creature. And the creature's looks like he's about to kill the captain, and the captain says, "Go ahead, kill me. Prove your maker's story." And the creature says, "My maker told you his tale. Now I shall tell you mine."
And then I got even more locked in.
And then we got Quentin Tarantino'd.
Yeah.
Part 2, the creature's tale.
I was so excited when this happened.
I remember you being excited.
Gosh.
Yeah, I remember you saying how you were locked in. Yeah.
I was, because I really didn't know, I had no idea where this movie was going, just like in general. So I was not expecting the like turn to the creature's version of the tale, or like his POV, I guess. So yeah, I was really excited when that happened.
I have to say, Jacob Elordi's narration as the creature is mesmerizing.
Yeah, he does a lot like with his voice to like really embody the creature, and like he does a great job. Again, he does a really, really good job.
So we cut back to the tower.
I was going to say super quick.
Yeah, go for it.
About his narration, which is something I appreciated about the story, because in a lot of iterations of Frankenstein, he is, especially like the classic one from the 1930s, he never really, surpasses this kind of like brainless, mindless monster thing. Book accurate Frankenstein speaks very, very eloquently, which is something that they, they build the character into that, which I found to be very, very nice and good. And I think that opens up just a lot more thematically.
Really adds that element of like humanization of the character.
Exactly. Making him as human as possible, but obviously still not 100% there by the end, which is interesting. And I guess we can just do a little bit more of a thematic processing after we finish the story. But yeah.
Well, to your point, his first line of dialogue as the narrator of the film now, it's a very human line. It is, "I called your name and understood I was alone."
Great line.
Right
Call
off
me
the
by
bat,
your name.
Right off the bat, we know, okay, del Toro's version of the creature is a very human version of the literary character.
Call me by your name, and I will also call you by your name.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry. Keep on going.
So he breaks free of his chains because he is Wolverine
He's
times
swole.
10. He breaks
me.
the rod. He smashes the chains. He gets out. He falls into the water. He escapes the
Exploding
tower. And then he goes into the woods. He finds the remains of a dead person, takes their jacket, so he is now somewhat clothed. And then we get a very interesting and tender scene. And first off, trigger warning for you animal lovers out there. Again,
honestly, for this whole movie, trigger warning for y'all. It was bad.
Still, though, if you're watching this spoiler segment, I do hope you have already seen the film. I'll say that again. If you haven't, just a heads up.
It's too late to turn back now. You're already
it's too late.
It's like half the movie.
Right. But no, he meets a deer, a buck, and there seems to be just this very interesting connection between
It's because it's innocence.
him and this deer. The deer is not afraid. The deer doesn't even take a step back. He just kind of stares into the creature's eyes, and the creature stares back into the eyes of this deer, and it's just like,
And then blam!
this is fascinating.
Boom!
Oh!
Yeah.
And then he gets Bambied.
And then they shoot the deer.
It's very Iron Giant coded, which is as the viewers may know, because I don't know if I've mentioned it, one of my favorite movies. So I was watching this, I said, "Oh shoot,
John, I've never seen the Iron Giant.
That's crazy."
I know.
End of the podcast. I'm leaving the studio. Duh.
I can't believe that.
We can't go down this rabbit hole right now. We will atone
right.
for this later.
Okay.
We will correct this,
Okay.
but it's a very Iron Giant coded scene, which I think this whole movie is kind of Iron Giant coded, but we'll get into that later also.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Ooh, that deer scene or the part where it's coming up with the house?
The part that's coming up with the cottage.
Okay, the cottage is great.
He takes refuge in a cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And he becomes fascinated by the family. And I believe the family who lives in the cottage is the family of the hunters who killed the deer.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least one of them.
And they saw the creature, and they tried to kill him.
Oh yeah, they try to shoot at him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they do hit him with a bullet.
They do. But he's Wolverine, like we
said.
But
he's Wolverine, so he's fine.
Yeah. There's adamantium inside of him.
Also,
exactly.
I do think, because this was a conversation that we had earlier, I do think that he feels pain. Because,
you think so?
Because in the movie, he explains how cold he is all the time. And if he can feel temperature, I feel like he can feel a bullet.
Probably. Maybe it's just like dulled, or he just is used to it at this point. We don't know.
That's an excellent point.
But anyway, continue.
Good point.
Thank you.
So he's fascinated by this family who lives in the cottage, and he hides out in, I don't know, an abandoned room in the cottage. Somehow he's able to live there for a considerable amount of time.
The mill part of the house.
Yes. In particular, he is fascinated with and drawn to the patriarch of this family, who is played by
Filch.
David Bradley. Filch from Harry Potter and Walder Frey from Game of Thrones.
Playing not a terrible person in this movie. We love to see it.
Now, this man is blind, but as the dialogue says, the narration says, as spoken by the creature, the old man moved me, and his unseeing eyes were full of wisdom. Just another great quote that I really liked.
Now, it's interesting because this is a little element that, once again, is very book accurate, except for one kind of thing that they never really get into, is that, through him hiding in this place, and as I'm sure Colin is going to explain, he ends up, through his observation, learning how to speak. Everyone except for the old man ends up leaving the cottage for various reasons for a considerable period of time, which, Jacob Elordi's character makes himself known to the man, and because he's blind, can't immediately tell what it is. And whatever. I guess the people here have seen the movie. In the book, hopefully, in the book, by the end of this kind of relationship, the old man has kind of come to some sort of understanding about who this guy is. Like a little bit more than,
in this movie,
than a human. And
yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
The old man was going to be his way. Like the old man was essentially when when my family comes back, I'm going to tell them about you, and then I'll bring you in. But because no one's going to accept you right off the bat because of the way that you look, respectfully. But he was, he was like, he was like, I'll tell them about you. I'll tell them who you are. I'll tell them what you've been for me. And then you will join our family. And Frankenstein, through the whole thing, his whole thing is, I'm lonely. I need a companion.
Frankenstein's monster.
My fault.
Yeah. The creature,
the monster, as Colin likes to call him. And that wasn't an element in
this one.
Element as explicitly as it is in the book, and I felt like it was so good in the book because it was that much more tragic when he eventually dies, the old man, because not only is the creature losing the one person that he's ever had, one of the only people that he's had like a sincere connection with, but he's also losing his chance at ever making it like assimilating into a place where he has community, where he has connection, where he's not lonely, And that's just something that I was confused. I was like, I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't obviously anything that ruined the story, but I was just like, I feel like that's such an easy thing to include. I was curious as to why they abandoned it, because it does make just that whole sequence that much more potent when you have that promise, when he has that promise in front of him, and it just gets ripped away.
To be fair, like I think it's implied enough that like you still kind of get the same effect, because in the scene, like while he's hanging out in the mill, he talks about how like he has this little like aerial moment where he's like, I just want to be part of their world. He's like, I want to be part of the family. And then at the end, after he's dead, spoilers for the spoilers, he has a line as he's leaving. He's like, and with the old man went like any chance of me ever being a part of that family. And so like, I think it still connects enough where like you can kind of get like the connection, and it's still extremely tragic without having like obviously like the explicit promise there. So yeah, I agree they could have left it in and like had like the explicit promise there, but I think you get enough of it that like I personally am not going to take off too much for it, because I think I still got the same effect.
I'm not going to take anything off for it as well. It's just it was just something that I perceived with my brain.
With your brain. His movie maker, filmmaker brain. Yeah, fair.
His film school brain.
It's so big.
Now, to be specific, the creature's thoughts on the family are he speaks them through narration. He says, these people possessed a sound, used it to tell each other about feelings and ideas. I longed to be a part of this family, to be their benefactor. What could I possibly do for them? From then on, I became their invisible guardian.
This is when he became like Edward Scissorhands coded.
The spirit of the forest. So this spirit of the forest is doing things for the family, helping them out, and in exchange, the family, probably at the direction of the patriarch, the blind man, leave clothes and food for this spirit of the forest.
Like
some tributes. So that's how the creature stays fed. That's how he gets clothed, fully clothed.
Assuming he needs to be fed, which I guess like also not covered ever entirely, but
And then he says, and for a moment, a brief moment, the world and I were at peace. He was happy.
What a bummer.
And unfortunately, he cannot stay happy.
Yeah, of course. God forbid the creature be happy.
Dude, who can these days?
Oh, it's so true. And that's what makes him so human. He's just like me for real. He can't be happy. Sorry.
And the creature makes an interesting observation when he sees the wolves attack the household.
This is another really great quote.
And the sheep.
Yeah.
This is before he reveals himself to the blind man. But
Yeah.
he says, again, trigger warning for those of you who are animal lovers.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He says, a feeling became clear to me. The hunter did not hate the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf did not hate the sheep. But violence felt inevitable between them. Perhaps, I thought, this was the way of the world. I would hunt and kill you just for being who you are.
Oof. That's deep.
Is this Del Toro or Mary Shelley?
Ooh.
That's Del Toro again. I don't.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
I don't know if he used any like direct quotes.
I
or
don't
not.
remember.
haven't
I
read the
wish that
book
I had
and
my
This
I don't
man
know.
can write.
Book with me.
Yeah. We'll go look.
It's okay.
But the man can write. He be spitting. He's got great lines. It's definitely one of the moments that I think gets a lot of heat, or at least I've seen it be getting a lot of heat for like being a little on the nose, you know, with the thematic elements of it. Like, oh, the world is violent, circle of life, all that good stuff. But like, I don't know. Maybe I just eat that up because it really hit. I don't know. Like, I think like Robert, you were saying earlier, like sometimes you don't really, like sometimes you don't need it to be subtle. Sometimes it's nice to just like have the theme kind of laid out in that like kind of fairy tale fashion, because it is Guillermo del Toro's like bag, as you said. And so yeah, I really liked it. I really resonated with that moment. I thought it was really cute. But I again can see where the critics are like, that was so on the nose. But you know what? Get over it.
Be whimsical.
So-
like
Exactly.
Like, chill.
Be
Chill a
whimsical.
little bit.
Be whimsical.
Yeah.
The family leaves to go hunt the wolves
hmm
during the winter, I think. And
Crazy decision.
they tell the patriarch, we'll be back when winter's over. And the patriarch, the blind man, insists on staying behind. So the creature decides to make a new friend,
Hey, it's me.
reveal himself. It's a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time to really, linger on it for too long, but great performances, great dialogue. The old man, the blind man, tells the creature, stay with me, be my companion.
Mhm.
I will be your friend. And this is where the creature really learns about love,
Mm-hmm.
learns to read,
Yeah.
learns about life. In fact, this is that part of the story where we see the creature
Yeah.
reading.
Learns about Ozymandias.
Exactly. He's reading the works of Mary Shelley's husband, Percy Shelley. Ozymandias. Yeah, the poem. But the blind man eventually encourages the creature to go find himself,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, because they have a conversation about, how the creature just doesn't really know who he is. He has memories of supposedly multiple different people
Mm-hmm.
because he's made from many different people. At least that's how I interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
And the blind man tells him to just go, find out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to the creature, God took your memory just as I wish he would take mine away. And then he reveals that he once killed a good man,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been paying for it ever since. And he doesn't want the creature to go through its life
Mm-hmm.
feeling regret
Yeah.
by not knowing where he came from. So the creature leaves and goes back to the obliterated tower. And
Oh.
I have a problem with this scene.
Colin has more beef with the believability of this scene because the conveniently things that survived are incredibly important to the rest of this plot.
For some reason, I feel like my final rating, which we will all do
We'll all
at the
get to.
end of the of the video, we'll all rate the film. My final rating is going to surprise some people probably because of all the
Just
gripes
based on this
I'm
heat.
bringing up in the middle of this.
I do remember this scene happening and being like, oh yeah, this is basically like there's a letter that survived the massive fire. There's the picture of the creature that also miraculously survives the massive fire and explosion. And
yeah,
a lot of things
How?
miraculously survived
a
somehow.
photograph even.
We don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't happen.
But we accept it.
Yeah.
We accept it. It's like, oh wow, what a fun surprise that these survived.
So he's able to discern two
Mhm.
things from his findings at the tower. One,
Mm-hmm.
what he is,
Yep.
where he came from.
Yep.
2, where to find Victor.
Yep, very convenient. Those are the exact two things he was looking
Yes.
for.
A letter completely intact
The
with
beauties of
Victor's name
storytelling.
and
I get to pick and
presumably
choose.
his address on it.
Exactly.
After, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
It
it's one of
works.
those things you got to accept.
Yeah.
But so he goes back to the blind man to tell him what he found, and the wolves have attacked.
The circle of life.
Yeah.
Oops,
And this is
oh.
a pretty gruesome scene.
It's tough. I even knowing it was gonna happen, like, it's tough.
This was one of the scenes that I also did cover my eyes for. I covered my eyes twice. It was during the mutilation scene with the dead bodies, and it was during this scene right here.
That's fair.
Watch through my fingers.
As much as we don't like the wolves, maybe in this moment because of what they just did, they were getting manhandled. That was rough. Animal lovers. Animal lovers, don't beware. The scene was rough.
Well, he gets rid of the wolves, and he shares a moment with the dying blind man.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to the blind man, I know what I am now. I'm a monster. And the blind man says, no, I know what you are. You are a good man.
And then John started crying.
He says,
and then I cried.
You are a good man, and you are my friend.
Oh, and then John cried even more.
And then he tragically passes on. And then another questionable moment for me, and I will explain why briefly. The family returns, and they chase the creature away. They shoot him dead temporarily, actually. He actually says, I died for a moment.
Yep.
But didn't the family say they were coming back after winter was over?
I don't know. I don't remember, honestly. When were they
Either
coming
way,
to a
it's
close?
convenient.
Maybe they heard a scuffle.
Yeah, a little too convenient. But
yeah.
anyways, to move on. So he died for a moment. The creature says there was silence again, and then merciless life.
He said, here I am, still alive.
It's the Adam Driver. It's the Adam Driver meme of every day I wake up.
Every day I wake up. Every day I wake up and I wish I was dead. That's him. That's Frankenstein's the creature every morning.
The creature becomes envious of men because he cannot die. And if he cannot die, he doesn't want to be alone. He wants a companion.
Yeah.
So he uses that conveniently surviving letter from the tower.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And it's a great film. I love the film. But he uses that letter to find Victor, who is preparing for William and Elizabeth's wedding.
Woo.
And I think once again Victor tries to he tries one last ditch effort to woo Elizabeth, and Elizabeth slaps him and is like, "Get out of here!"
It's like, "Well, you could still be with me, ahaha." And then she's like, "No, you're weird,
freak,
and a bad dad."
So the creature crashes the wedding. Essentially, well, the wedding hasn't started yet, but he crashes the
pre-wedding.
Yeah, the festivities.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to Victor, I cannot die, and I cannot live alone. And Victor says something like, I'm not going to make you a companion, you thing, or ultimately Victor uses the word something. And the creature says, no, not something, someone. The miracle is not that I should speak, but that you would ever listen. So Victor's getting schooled by everybody.
Yeah, it's fair.
Elizabeth,
he deserves it. Let's be honest.
The creature, and the creature demands a companion.
Yep.
Victor says no.
Sadly, we do not get a Bride of Frankenstein in this movie.
And we get my favorite line from the creature after Victor tells him no, and that is, "If you are not to award me love, then I will indulge in rage, and mine is infinite."
Dang. That's Guillermo del Toro right there.
Yeah.
That's him. That's also him.
Elizabeth comes in then. She's still obviously attracted to the creature.
Has a connection.
She's fascinated with him. There is a connection. They have a moment. And, before she comes in, pardon me, the creature throws Victor after he says, my rage is infinite.
He's like, yeets him across the room.
He throws him across the room a couple of times. Victor honestly should have a broken back.
He's fine.
But whatever. It's fine.
Built different. Quite literally.
Yeah. True.
So ultimately, by the time Elizabeth comes into the room, Victor is laying on the ground and there are pistols near him. Conveniently loaded pistols. And he tells Elizabeth to get away from the creature. She doesn't, and he just decides,
he takes the shot.
I'm going to take the shot. What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, you know what went wrong.
She did.
We could see
She shot at least.
She's dying.
Yeah.
And
we all knew it was
the
coming.
creature. I believe she actually tells the creature to take her away.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So he picks her up and she says, "Take me with you," and he carries her out. No one tries to stop them. I guess they saw what happened.
Who's gonna try and stop that dude? I'm not.
Oh, actually, before he carries her out, William and his
he dies.
I guess his companions come in the room and they charge the creature, and William gets thrown into a piece of furniture. His head gets bashed. It's not pretty. So William is laying there, not doing too well, and that's when the creature leaves with Elizabeth.
And that's when we get the line from William.
Victor goes up to his brother and says, "I can save you."
Mm-hmm.
And William asks him, "From what? From you?"
Oh.
"I fear you, Victor. I always have. Every ounce of madness and destruction, the very conflagration that devoured everything. It all came from you. You are the monster."
Whoa.
I kind of rolled my eyes at that part. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's probably if the other part with the animals was a little on the nose, this one's like that very on the nose to the extent of maybe bashing you over the head with the theme a little bit.
I just feel
I think this is probably the one that gets harped on a lot.
I think that this
apparently also by Robert
kind of ties into maybe one of my bigger issues with the movie and why I feel like it resonates super well. Fails to resonate super well with me is that.
Mm-hmm.
On an aesthetic level, and this is also something that I feel like I kind of hold Guillermo del Toro and Robert Eggers in similar lanes in
my boy.
Okay.
In filmmaking, because I feel like there are two filmmakers who are primarily concerned with aesthetics.
They're vibes-based filmmakers,
right? They're definitely vibes-based filmmakers.
I see that.
And Robert Eggers, I think, will almost do that in a way where he, for some reason, like he just doesn't really have a problem with letting his themes in his story be a little bit more vague and unexplained and a little bit less formed.
Specifically in The Lighthouse. Go check out that review on this channel.
Click on the card above.
Got all of them.
And, I think just for me and my personal tastes, I don't know if that's ever going to be like a filmmaking style and a storytelling technique that will resonate with me the most. Not disqualifying its value at all,
Yeah.
But that's just kind of like a personal thing. I do prefer the way that Eggers does it a little bit more as just less of like, it's almost like he knows like I'm not all about this theme thing, Yeah,
there's more subtlety with his.
Yeah, I'm not all about this theme thing, so I'm just going to kind of like leave it a little bit more unexplained. I'm going to leave it a little bit more abstract. And Guillermo
leave it
del
more up to like
Toro,
the audience's interpretation.
Right. And Guillermo del Toro's response and his thing almost seems to be kind of like throwing very ham-fisted versions of themes into his story that are a little bit more blunt and a little bit less built out. And that's not, like I said, inherently bad, but I do think that with this movie in particular, it doesn't really draw anything super new or profound out of the movie, out of the story that I don't think isn't already there. And I would even go as far to say that in some ways it just uncomplicates a lot of the stuff that is in the book and very elegantly. So I wish that I had the book that I like read the story from, because it's full of like quotes that I could kind of maybe, so I could go bar for bar a little bit, but I can't.
Bar for bar with Mary
Bar
Shelley.
for bar with Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley can go bar for bar with Guillermo del Toro like through me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of, and maybe this is like a pretentious part of me, but kind of have some eye-rolling moments
Yeah.
with just the themes that Guillermo del Toro throws in here, because they are kind of very ham-fisted and not very new. You know, I can't say a lot of the stuff that he's throwing around in this movie is like, it's nothing that we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
It's not a feature, it's not a theme that haven't explored in countless other forms of, countless other stories, and it's not even the most, I don't know, he's just not really pulling out anything new with it here, and it really just...
The idea of maybe we are the monsters the whole time isn't like exactly new and fresh.
No, it's kind of like
an idea.
Kind of like the joke, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The amount of times I've seen like a internet post like making fun of a college kid with a PhD in philosophy being like, I propose that Frankenstein is the real monster, and in this I will ... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that line, that moment, really just is where kind of like this complaint of just like, I really think that you're really not doing the most. In this,
he's really billboarding the theme a little bit too much.
Yeah,
and I can definitely see where it would take people out of the movie.
What I'm gonna say sounds so mean, but this is just kind of
I'll prepare myself.
The best way that I can kind of take it. But he's really just throwing some Pinterest slogans into some dialogue at points.
At the end of the movie, the creature looks at the camera and goes, "Live, laugh, love." And then the credits roll.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just it does just kind of feel like a little juvenile at points, and taken a little bit too seriously as such. For me to be fully on board, and that is me making a statement on my own personal feelings about the movie, towards the movie, not trying to say
God
anything.
forbid we be earnest in the year of our Lord 2025.
Exactly. Maybe I'm a little bit. Maybe
He's
it's
too
pretentious,
jaded.
but I can't pretend that it's. This is brave.
No,
this is bruised.
it's fair.
This is who I'm meant to be.
Now he's giving out the Pinterest slogan.
This is me, guys.
This is real. This is me.
This is the white boy with the backwards hat.
Yeah,
on your screen right
that's
now.
Fair.
Yeah,
but at least he's self-aware, guys.
At least
he's
I'm
self-aware about it.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I think that whatever. I'll let us move on. But that point. That moment of dialogue just kind of is like the zin, like it's the crux of one of my big issues with the movie. Why I feel like it doesn't kind of hit me in a spot that resonates a little bit deeper. But all that's to say, like, if Guillermo del Toro is someone who values his aesthetics a lot more than he values, these other components to storytelling. He's really knocking it out of the park where he's trying to. So,
True.
Always going to support my boy at the end of the day for that. So, I'm not even hating.
It sounded a little bit like hate, but yeah.
Okay,
Colin's crying.
Moving on. We are no. We are running a bit longer than I anticipated,
okay.
so I will try to be as concise as possible. Maybe cut down some of the quotes for you guys in the rest of the story.
There's at least one more quote that I need, but we'll get to that point.
I'm sure I have it written down somewhere.
Colin has it. I can assure you.
I'm sure he does.
I hope I do now.
I have to think of a really obscure one. No, I'm just kidding.
William is dead. The creature has carried Elizabeth to a cave. She has placed, or he. I'm going to call the creature he because they are a person.
Good. Yeah.
Places her on.
Colin's learned the message of the movie.
That's right. Yes. He has placed her down on a rock, and she says something along the lines of, better to. Well, actually, I have it written down. Let me just say
y'all.
it.
Don't worry.
Better to die a hero than to see yourself laying.
No, she says, better this way.
That's it. That's what she says.
Better this way to fade with your eyes gazing upon me.
Yes.
And she dies.
Tough.
And Victor comes in, armed, and the creature says to him, "She is gone, and I long to follow." The creature does not want to be around anymore. The creature wants
to die.
He just wants to die. And he says to Victor, You gave me life, unwanted. I give that back to you. You thought me a monster. Now I return the favor. And he breaks his nose.
That part goes hard.
In a really gnarly fashion.
That's a
that
quote
part
that I
does
think
go
goes
hard.
hard.
Those are the quotes that Robert likes.
That one gets the Robert stamp.
None of that stuff about being the monster, loving life. He loves the quotes about revenge and cool action stuff. That's the backwards hat right there.
He goes on to tell him, as Victor is bleeding on the ground, I will make you bleed. I will make you humble. You may be my creator, but from this day forward, I will be your master. And the creature then runs away. Victor picks up another gun, follows him, and begins the hunt. And the hunt takes us to the beginning of the film, the Prelude, in 1857 in the I can't say that word, in the farthermost north. Victor's in his tent.
Yep.
The creature pulls him from his tent, and he stabs Victor, actually. There's a whole confrontation, and I'm just trying to get through it as quickly as possible for us. There's a confrontation. He stabs Victor, and then he takes a stick of dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That part was so interesting.
He says, Victor, you only listen when I hurt you. He picks up the stick of dynamite. He tells Victor to light it, and then says to Victor, run.
He basically's like, you better hope this kills me.
Exactly.
Does Colin have a moment? Does Colin have a gripe at this moment as well?
Yeah, but I give up. I feel like
giving up at this point.
I feel like the more I gripe, the more disingenuous my final rating is going to come across to people.
Okay.
So, and I will explain myself when I give my final rating. But no, I'm just going to leave it be.
Fair.
He should have blown up. Okay,
Oh,
he should have blown up, but he didn't. He healed
His clothes
too fast.
should have at least blown off.
Robert said, I wanted to see Jacob Elordi naked.
It should have worked. To be quite honest.
Anyways.
Apologies, everyone, for the interruption, but just so you know, from this point on in the video, the audio is going to sound a little bit different. You see, unbeknownst to us, our microphones died, but we still have the audio from our cameras, so things will just sound a little bit different. Thank you for your understanding, and please enjoy the rest of the video. So this explosion from the dynamite is the explosion that the captain and his crew see from the ship. And as we mentioned earlier in the walkthrough, they go out and get Victor, they encounter the creature, they bring Victor back to the ship, they break the ice, the creature falls through the ice. In the middle of the film, we see the creature come up through the ice again. We just see his arm come out. And obviously at this point in the story, he is on the ship telling his side of the story to the captain. And we now get to a rather, I would say, beautifully written scene, but at the same time, it doesn't make an ounce of sense to me.
Okay.
And this is where a dying Victor makes his peace with the monster, who, out of nowhere, so
drop some bars.
Out of nowhere, Victor is sorry, and out of nowhere, the creature forgives him.
Disagree.
I have all these lines written down. I'm hesitating reading them because it might take some time, and I want to hear what your disagreement is.
Okay.
So, let's see what I have. So Victor makes peace with his creation. He says, I am sorry. Regret consumes me, and I now regard my life for what it was. And then the creature, realizing that Victor is dying, his demeanor changes. He speaks to him almost tenderly. He says, my birth, my grief, your loss. I will not be punished nor absolved. I believe Victor is saying this. What hope I had, what rage. It is all nothing. I'm sorry, the creature is saying this. The tide that brought me here now comes to take you away, leaving me stranded. And this is when Victor...
Bar.
Huh?
Bar. That's a good line.
Oh. And this is when... So I kind of rushed through that. I may have made a mistake saying who said what, but whatever. This is when Victor looks at the creature and says to him, forgive me, my son. And if you have it in your heart, forgive yourself into existence. If death is not to be, then consider this, my son. While you are alive, what recourse do you have but to live?
Or that's the line I was talking about, by the way, where I was like, there's one quote left, that's the one.
You guys know what I wrote next in my notes?
What'd you write?
What?
This is where the story falls apart for me.
Oh,
That's
my
crazy,
gosh.
because that's the part where I said, dang, this movie slaps, 10 out of 10.
This was the most interesting part of the movie for me.
That's so interesting.
Since you guys are in love with this moment,
Wow.
and I agree, it's a
Wow,
beautiful
wow, wow, wow.
moment. It doesn't make sense to me.
I disagree.
Teach me.
I
Explain to me.
think it comes together. I mentioned before how we get the moment where Victor's trying to go back into the house, which kind of like makes this moment a lot more feasible because we see that there is tenderness in him. But there's also the element of like these two have never sat down and had a conversation with each other their entire lives, like an actual conversation. And so I think the fact that they both sat down and like actually just like told their story to each other just like imparts so much understanding onto both men about like what everyone has gone through and like everything that like builds up to why each other have done the things that they've done. There's also the added context that Victor's gonna die, and so there's the classic like, oh, I'm gonna die now, so I may as well just like make peace with all my demons because I'm just gonna be dead. So I think that really adds to the part about Victor like forgiving him for everything. And then there's the added element that the creature, like, he's essentially done what he set out to do. Like, he knows Victor's gonna die, and he's gonna be left here on this earth continuing to live despite whatever he wants. So there's really nothing more he can do to, like, torture Victor anymore, so he just, like, has also kind of come to terms with it. And it's just like, you know, here we are at the end of our story, and, like, we're just gonna kind of, like, make up. And it's also the first moment that, like, Victor has ever looked at Frankenstein's the creature. It's the first time Victor's ever looked at the creature and, like, seen, like a son. Like, and I think that the creature really, like, has kind of always been looking for that from him, like, that recognition that he's never gotten. So I think that also helps to, like, bring him over to, like, the forgiveness side and, like, make it more of a tender moment.
But why does he look at him as a son now?
Because he's, like I said, because he's heard his entire story. He's, like, thought about a lot about his life in this moment, and he is also about to die, so like he said, he's, like, thinking a lot about his life, and, like, has kind of, like, realized kind of, like, everything that he's gone through, all the mistakes that he's made, and he's come to this realization. Sure, a little bit late, and sure, it could have been built up a little bit more. For me, it still worked. It all flowed well together.
I'm going to cut in because I think that I'm kind of, like, in between the two opinions, where it's, like,
Okay.
I'm with John in, like, this is such an interesting part of the movie. And if I'm remembering correctly, I often get the book and a lot of the other adaptations of Frankenstein kind of jumbled together in my brain. But I think that this is the one where the two actually make peace with each other rather than, you know, it being more of like a tragic thing and, you know, more of a doom-filled nihilistic ending, you know? Which ultimately I like. You know, I'm a big fan of people returning back to an ultimate kindness, you know, at the end of everything. It hits me. Like it a lot better than, you know, the world is hopeless.
There are two sides of Robert. The side that really loves the scene where the creature is like, I have an endless rage, I'm gonna kill you. And then the other side that says, I love when people return to an ultimate kindness.
The duality of man.
The duality of man, right
just
there.
Crazy. But I don't know. You hit it when you were talking about it. I think that this isn't the smoothest transition. I think that maybe it could have been built into it a little bit more. But why I think that ultimately, you know, Oscar Isaac is able to find, you know, his creation at the end of his life and call him, you know, my son, is because, like, it's what the creature says. It's like, you know, through like the rage and through the hope and through rage, like at the end of this life, like all of those have faded away, you know? And it's just like this whole thing about we go through our life and we get so hurt. We get so beat down by the cruelty of the world. But in these final moments is when all of that and I think that this is just very true to reality. All of that stuff just like really almost comes down, and you do really see truly what's important at the final moment. I mean, there is something about death that is really humbling and really humbles people beyond, pain and regret and rage and feeling betrayed and feeling, even if you were, like, this monster was genuinely taken advantage of and abused, and there's just something, like I said, so humbling about death that really strips that aside and just really allows these two people to be actually who they are to each other, who they've truly meant to be to each other. Because it's in this moment that, the creature who's been raised up, it's kind of like this whole, nurture versus nature type thing. Like he meets all of this cruelty, and it kind of builds him up to be this vengeful, rage-filled, beast of revenge. And then, Frankenstein growing up with the mother that was stripped away from him, with a father who was cruel to him and ignoring him. It's when all of their, like, cruel conditioning just gets stripped away, and for a moment they're actually able to connect with who they were
just humans
in the beginning, before any of that bad stuff ever met them and ever happened to them. And, like, find that forgiveness and find that peace. And I think that's awesome. I love it. I love that. I love the sentiment.
I agree.
I can also understand that the sentiment, like, it does it feel earned and justified in the grand scheme of the story? I think that there's, like, no, I think that somebody like Colin, who's like, no, is well within their right to have that opinion, but sometimes the ends justify the means, and at the end of the day, I am a sap.
Yeah.
And so
at the end of the day, he does love an earnest moment.
And at the end of the day, I love some hope. Make movies hopeful again.
Hope core, make movies hopeful again. Let's go.
I cannot deny that it is a beautiful scene. It's a beautifully written scene, a beautifully acted scene from Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi.
And I think that also does a lot of the heavy lifting of, like, why it comes off as really believable, is that just the performances are just so raw and earnest, and just, like, they make it believable. So I think that's definitely an added element for me as well. And then we get to the ending.
Well, I have to read us
hold on.
Victor's final words, just because I wrote them down and I want to say them. Say my name. My father gave me that name, and it meant nothing. Now I ask you to give it back to me, one last time, the way you said it at the beginning, when it meant the world to you.
Fatherhood, everybody. Father and son.
And the creature forgives him and starts to weep. And I even believe at one point kisses Victor on the brow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm on my last page of notes now.
Last page of the notes.
We've made it this far to the
last
end.
Page of the notes.
He kisses Victor's brow and Victor dies. And he says, "Rest now, Father.
King.
Perhaps now we can both be human."
Ooh.
The captain, I'm just going to read what I wrote here so we can be done with the story and move on to our post-story discussion, which we'll make brief, because I know we've gone pretty long today.
We will have gone the length of the film, everyone.
That's right. Actually, maybe. The captain grants the creature basically safe passage from the ship, and the creature uses his divine strength to free the ship from the ice. And the sailors are cheering, and the captain, you know what? The captain even has a full circle moment in this movie. He says, "You know what? Screw the mission. You guys want to go home?
We're going home.
We're going home.
Turn the ship around."
Exactly. So, the last moment and shot in the movie is the creature basking in the sunlight. which is a callback to when
Yes.
Victor first showed him the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And Victor said something about the sun. I don't remember what it was. Of all the things I
Write
forgot
that
to
one down.
of all the things I forgot to write down, it was
Platinum
the one about the
post.
sun. And the movie ends with the Lord Byron quote, which we said earlier, but I'll say it again because it's in the notes. And thus the heart will break, yet brokenly live on.
And then John cried again.
And that is Guillermo del Toro's take on Frankenstein.
And I said, absolute cinema, masterpiece.
And I felt
What'd you feel, Colin?
a feeling I hadn't felt since
Mm.
April of 2022 when I went to go
Mm.
see a certain film called The Northman.
Yeah, as you should.
Although watching it a second time and thinking about some things that didn't quite add
Some
up
of the
for
logical
me,
inconsistencies.
is it gonna knock down the rating I gave it the
Uh-oh.
night I watched it?
Uh-oh. I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. We're not going to go there quite yet, but I have a question, a post walkthrough question for you guys. We've spoken about the performances,
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Elordi in particular, and how I predict that he will be nominated for an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
We've established that the Academy likes Del Toro.
Mm-hmm. Likes Guillermo, but dislikes horror.
If any, which Oscars will this film be nominated for?
Ooh.
I'm gonna shoot 3 off the bat.
Okay.
Shoot him.
Cinematography.
Yep.
Production design.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? There's a couple. It's gonna win all the it can win some technical awards.
Technical ones, yeah.
Costume design,
Costuming,
hair and makeup,
maybe.
production,
Mhm.
cinematography, and then I also there was one more.
Directing?
No, well maybe I'm not sure.
Perhaps adapted screenplay
Ooh, true.
for Del
I hope
Toro?
not.
I could see that. Oh.
Really?
Interesting.
Well, to me, the screenplay was the weakest part. Where this movie shines for me
Okay.
is the aesthetics and the
The
production
vibes,
value
okay.
and the
That's
vibes
fair.
and stuff.
That's fair.
The weakest part, like I've complained about so eloquently on this podcast, is the screenplay, is the writing.
Robert doesn't want the film that
Ooh.
has the phrase "You're the monster."
I
to
do
win
not
Best
want that
Adapted
one to be
Screenplay.
nominated for an Oscar.
That's that's
My
fair,
biggest
yes.
gripe with the screenplay is simply some of the contrived moments, but
Yeah.
to
The
me,
conveniences.
The dialogue is
Yeah.
Yeah, the
is
plot conveniences. Yeah,
incredible.
I would throw director up there as well because it was very well directed.
Oh,
film.
visual effects.
Okay.
That was the
visual
other
effects.
one. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I could also see that. Probably costuming and makeup over that, but it could at least nominate it for sure. Yeah, I think it covers all of them, and I think Jacob Elordi maybe acting, Oscar Isaac maybe supporting, but I think that's probably.
Well, I think Oscar Isaac would get lead actor nomination, and Jacob Elordi would get supporting actor nomination.
I agree.
Ooh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, that's the only question I have written
Oh.
down post
Okay.
spoiler discussion.
Robert, didn't you write some stuff down for questioning? Or no?
I did. I guess we'll talk about the angel thing
That's right, because we didn't touch on that yet.
because it's
The Dark
interesting.
Angel?
The last reveal of the last vision that Frankenstein
Mhm.
has of the Dark Angel is of the angel's face either being
Mm-hmm.
taken away by itself or
revealed. Yeah.
melted away. I can't really exactly remember how it happens, but
Mm-hmm.
that angel was revealed to be death the entire time. And so I just thought that was a very interesting thing is how he was in the moment where he was most affected by death. The thing that told him, "Oh, I'm going to come and actually give you power to overcome this," was death itself. And it was a deceiving thing the entire time. And that's just kind of interesting when you think about, is every inspiration a good inspiration? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only can you trust the people, these pioneers, the people who are forward and pushing all this progress, but can you trust the thing that's compelling them to do so? You know,
Yeah.
can you trust that it really is the thing that they say it is?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to Harlander as well, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah. Because even in his own mind, he was like, no, I've been inspired by an angel. But really, he was being deceived, and the thing that he was being inspired and led by was like death itself. And, you know, it ended up killing him. So I thought that was super interesting. Just that reveal. The monster obviously has some like very, very prevalent Jesus imagery tied to it. You know, when he's raised up to be brought up to life.
He was in fact born on that cross.
He was up there like this.
Yeah, I do believe Del Toro said he did that intentionally.
Oh, I would. Yeah, he let us know that it was intentional. He's got the he's got the piercing in the side.
Oh, did he? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
That was another eye rolling moment where I was like, I get it. Respectfully.
I mean, at least they didn't give him the what's the holes in the hands called again? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, from the nails.
That was like a name.
I don't.
Yeah, it has a name. I don't remember what it's
name?
called. It does have a name. I don't remember what it's called though.
I don't know.
I was hoping Colin would know the name. Which I looked that up.
I do not.
Fair enough. Someone in the comments, get down there and tell me what the name of it is. I'll Google it after it, anyways.
Yeah. But you know, it's interesting just because you know he says, "I will conquer death." You know, that's Frankenstein's mission, and obviously, him being able to bring life to this monster is just that. It's the fulfillment of that vision of him conquering death. And, you know, can obviously be tied back to the resurrection, you know, of Jesus and him being like, you know, theoretically like Jesus being the thing that conquered death, you know, but except the difference, what do you think the difference is? Obviously,
what's interesting to me is that he set out to conquer death, and he literally made something that cannot die.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he died.
And then he died. Yeah.
What is the difference, Robert? I'm curious. What your take is.
I like.
Know, or generally asking.
I had it. And then I literally lost it. My mind is so blank right now, which is why I kind of deflected to the audience.
Let us know in the comments.
I mean, maybe you're going like the route of like sin, where like Victor was a very sinful guy.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that, where he created death instead. I don't know. There's some ironic twist on it, I'm sure. Something there, I'm sure. But this is kind of like the really big post story question is ultimately, what do you... I'm going to lead in with just my thoughts on this, but like, what do you think makes this story meaningful for today? You know? Like, why remake this now?
Yeah.
And what about this story do you think is like speaks into like the culture and what we're going through? I think that there's the lowest hanging fruit that you can obviously compare it to is AI, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Creating life that
cannot die.
Cannot die, but like, you know, gets away from us, becomes its own thing, becomes its own force, is a little bit beyond us. You know, how the distinction between, you know, humanity and artifice, you know, being blurred a little bit. And I guess one of the questions that you can ask on that, I think, is two-pronged. Like, one, can man really create anything as human as itself? And I think that this is a sentiment that was reflected in the movie, because one of the things that we were always like, this is like year one, like really basic year one film school stuff that we learned, but it's useful. How does the movie start and how does the movie end? Because there's usually mirror thematic images in the very beginning and the very end. And in the very beginning, the captain is like, we go forward to the North Pole no matter what. That is kind of the first like moral I'm so hungry right now, and I'm blanking. That's like the first. That's like the first moral claim that
Moral quandary, if you will.
that the movie makes, and
Mm-hmm.
after
It's like, is this dude get consumed by
yeah,
his desires and his vision and his wants,
and then
that he's just gonna end up dying in the end?
after hearing all of the stories, the captain says, "Turn around, we're going home."
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're failing the mission, so to speak, but also saving some lives. And I think ultimately, to me, what this movie is saying is some progress is not worth the cost. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worth turning around. Just because we can doesn't mean that we should. And I think that is a very, very prevalent theme for today. You know, obviously we're always living in the most technologically advanced version of society, but with technology being what it is today, it's growing exponentially. You know, we are as a culture are growing at a rate that is quite literally unprecedented. You know, as trite as that word is, it is just very mathematically true. You know, we're no longer going like this. It's boom. You know what I mean? And I think that, to me, that's what makes this story like potent for right now, is like mankind is getting to a place where we are capable of a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the warning in this is like, learn how to turn around before it's too late. Before we create something
maybe not all technological advancements need to be made.
Exactly. Before we go and create something that we can't undo.
Yeah.
And we leave like yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No,
but,
that's it.
I feel like this is a good
mic drop.
A good question to pose now is, hasn't Del Toro gone on record saying he hates AI and will never use it in his films?
I think so.
Like recently.
I don't think the read of this movie has to be like sympathy for AI. I don't think that's where we're going. I don't think that's what he intended.
ChatGPT has feelings too.
ChatGPT has feelings too, y'all.
Yeah.
But like,
just thought that was that could be interesting timing.
I mean, hey, you know, the interpretation of the art is in the eyes of the beholder. So if that's a read you want to make,
hopefully I'm correct, and he did say that.
That is a read you could make.
So I'll have to verify later.
But like, I think the message, like, first of all, yes to everything that Robert just said. I think that is definitely a very important part of the film and like the overall like thematic through line of it all. But I think what resonates most with me, and I really liked your idea of like, where does the movie begin and where does the movie end? Looking specifically at Victor's story, we start with a character who is obsessed with conquering death and like basically spends his entire life trying to conquer death. And then we end the movie with a character who has to learn how to live. And I'm like, dang.
Wow.
That's poignant stuff, Guillermo.
Yeah.
Because like,
that's pretty good.
And like, and that's, I was having a conversation with a friend recently who was asking me like, oh, what kind of movies and like, what kind of movies do you like? And I was like very broadly, and this is kind of like a meme for me now, where it's like, if you're a movie or at any piece of media that has a message about like the human condition and just like about why life is great. Specifically, there's a very specific subgenre of song / other media that I really like enjoy, which is the person wants to commit suicide, and then by the end of it, they don't because they realize life is cool. And I'm like, I love that. I love a hopecore, we love life kind of movie or song or whatever. So it was really funny watching that movie after having that conversation very recently, because I feel like this movie is very much one of those things where it really does explore like life, what it means to be human, what it means to truly live, like all of these things. And like it has that really poignant quote at the end.
And why
about,
living
like, you know,
is important despite suffering that we encounter.
Exactly. Yeah. Why living is important despite suffering. Like it really, like why it's all worth it. And like if like the quote at the end really hit me, which of like if you know if you're doomed to like never die, what else is there to do but like truly live? And yeah, someone who loves a hopecore message about being human and living life, I got the goosebumps. I was tearing up, and I really liked it. So through it all, there were definitely some like cheesy moments, and like maybe some things were a little bit too on the nose. But like, I really love an earnest message about living life. What can I say? So yeah, I never really thought about that until you said that, Robert. So I appreciate you bringing up the like where it starts, where it ends, because like that really connected with me in that moment of like starting with conquering death, ending with like how to live, and like ooh,
Yeah, no, that's good. That was good.
that might make my rating go up.
Well, speaking of ratings, is it time to
Is it time?
rate the film?
Well,
Colin, do you have any
wait.
last
I feel like
thoughts?
we
Yeah.
Colin,
Yeah, I feel like we both spit about random themes and things that resonated.
what
with us.
resonated with you? What do you think makes
Yeah.
this movie potent for today, for you?
that's-
Unless
right
you want
now.
to give your rating and then go into that.
No, I can try to tackle that
Yeah,
briefly.
Tap in.
Oh man, having watched the movie twice in the span of 2 days, I feel like I would be able to give a better answer, but I'm kind of blanking right now, to be honest.
Fair. It is late.
It is late where we are, but no, I just find it. Again, it kind of goes back to
It's just a feeling.
what I said about the connection between that line in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know, who is the monster
True.
and who is the man, which later becomes, you know, what makes a monster and what makes a man.
Yeah.
I just really, I don't know if this is as deep as some of the things that you guys were talking about, but I really just enjoyed the creature's journey of discovering himself.
Yeah.
And realizing that I am a person. I am a man. He never says this, but I believe the character has a soul that was given to him by, maybe he thinks his creator was Frankenstein, but you know, if you believe in an all-powerful creator, then
True.
perhaps it was given to him by, you know, an all-powerful creator. But
True.
just the journey of discovery for this character, learning that he is not a monster, that he is a person, and I'm not sure if I'm making a whole lot of sense right now.
No, you're spitting. Don't worry.
And, you know, again, goes back to Hunchback of Notre Dame.
It all goes back.
Even though the person we assumed was the man, being Victor, Frankenstein, he, in some ways, was a monster, like his father. A
True.
man
Cycles of
can
violence
be
is
a
a big
monster.
Yeah.
And a monster, or what we perceive to be a monster, can be a man. Now, how is that relevant to what's going on today? I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know, but
There is
I
an
think
opinion
what
behind that. Oh,
There is, and I think I know what it is, but we're not going to go into it.
we're not gonna get into it.
We're gonna let
Maybe after
Sleeping
the
Dogs
cameras are
lie.
shut off.
Yeah. But you know what? Where did this podcast start? With that quote from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Where is it kind of ending? Also with the Hunchback of Notre Dame quote.
Everything's full
That's
circle.
right.
Where
Yes.
does it start? Where does it end?
Go here. Yeah, I love that.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I don't feel like I gave as deep
No,
an answer as you guys did.
That's
but
really real.
No, it's
A story about what it means to be human and like the journey of the creature to like fully realizing that, I think is really, really impactful as well.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm the host, and you guys. That's why I ask you guys to come on to my show, because you guys offer these kinds of takes that I just simply can't.
Yeah, when it resonates something. Plus, at the end of the day, you said it was like a feeling, and I think that is also really like I feel like as all film lovers here, I think we've all like seen a movie where like even if we don't immediately know or could put into words like why we're getting that feeling and why it resonated so much, but like we've all sat there at the end of a movie like watching the credits roll, and you're just like, dang, that really hit. Don't know why yet, but that really hit. I'm going to need to unpack this later.
April of 2022.
He's got the date.
And November of 2025.
There it is.
Although I do wish this one had been at the cinema.
Yeah, that's real.
As opposed to my living room. But
it was nice to experience it all together, like, as homies, and we can just, like, yap about it immediately afterwards in the comfort of our
absolutely, and it being a streaming movie had definitely aided in my preparation for this recording, because I was able to watch it again at my desk and pause it every time I heard a quote And I was like, oh, I got to write this quote down.
Remember a lot of quotes.
I'm going to read all these quotes during the recording. Yeah.
And he did. We love it.
Yeah, and I did. Did I get the quote that you wanted me to get, or did I miss it?
Mine? Yes, you did.
Okay. What was it?
It was the one at the end about like because he has to die, you have to live.
Okay, cool.
One.
All right, rating it.
Ratings?
Now, before we do that, I do want to say there might be some of you out there who are wondering, why does Saga Sessions rate on a scale of 1 to 10? Why not 1 to 5? Well, we're not letterboxed. We're Saga Sessions.
Yeah.
1 to 10 it
1
is.
to 15.
We're getting really weird.
That's right.
We getting strange all up in here.
Yeah.
Would anybody like to go first? Or I'm also happy to go first if you want.
I'll go first because I feel like I'm going to have the lowest rating.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sure.
we can get out of the way. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I did see your letterbox score you gave before this. I did kind of that was coming.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I thought you were going to go with a 7.
It's okay.
But, I mean, hey.
Stop. No.
That's
no,
okay.
Robert, no. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. And in your review on Letterboxd was literally like, this is the most Guillermo del Toro movie to ever Guillermo del Toro, and that will really affect your rating of it. Like, because you're either going to really like that or you're not going to drive with it as much. So, like, I definitely agree. So as someone who does typically and continuously drive really well with Guillermo del Toro movies, perhaps unsurprisingly, based on how much I've been gushing about it, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's perfect. I think it does get weighed down a little bit by some of those plot conveniences, some of like the more cheesy not over the top, but like the cheesy like on the nose moments. Because like yes, I do like some of them for how earnest they are, but even me, I'm like, that's a bit much, man. Specifically the monster quote. But at the end of the day, it really is tailor-made for me as a man who loves a movie about living life, and that's what this movie is. So I'll give it an unapologetic 9 out of 10. Where I'm saying, yes, there are flaws, but I'm overlooking a lot of them because it really hit me. Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it deserves, after seeing it twice and sharing with you all my gripes and my complaints and my criticisms, it deserves an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
But
Follow your heart, Colin.
I have to follow my heart.
Follow your heart.
And I have to think back to how I felt when the credits rolled after watching it for the first time.
When we're just basking in the sun.
And I was brought back to my memory of watching The Northman,
Yes,
which
sir.
is a 10 out of a 10 in my book. But
Mm-hmm.
I will forgo giving this film an 8, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of a 10, like John.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Because of how it made me feel the first time around.
Arguably the
Love
most
it.
important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think if I were to like, put my critic glasses on, be really objective, I would probably end up giving it like around an 8 as well. But like, when it hits, it hits.
When it hits, it
And
hits.
It hit.
It hits, and it hit.
Hit me
All
hard
right,
and soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billie Eilish, come on the pod.
Please.
Please.
I'm kidding.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you, John, for joining me
Thank you for having me.
this evening. It's evening for me and John, and I guess evening for Robert, who is in a different time zone than we are. Earlier evening.
Still, I'd
But
say
to
pretty late.
Right. But to all of you out there who stuck through this entire video, I want to thank you for attending this Saga session. We hope to see you again soon.